Welcome, everyone. This is Virginia Parsons, your Hangout mentor and the host of the Inspirational Businesswoman Show, and I'm thrilled to have you here today. I'm looking forward to our wonderful guest, Rayne. In just a minute, I'll be bringing her on. She has so much incredible information to share with you about video marketing and getting the word out using video. So hold on, she'll be with us in just a moment. Now, today's show is sponsored by Hangout-marketing.com, where you can receive a free Hangout marketing assessment that evaluates your skill set and your knowledge base in using Hangouts on air to brand, grow, and market your business. So all you have to do to take advantage of that assessment is pick up your phone. That's right, pick up your phone and text the word success, SUCCESS, to 307-269-2040, and you'll receive a lot of great information back after you take that assessment, and you might even qualify for a free strategy session with me where we'll discuss how you can grow your business using Hangouts on air. So take advantage of that, won't you? Now, I also want to thank you for being here. I know that your time is valuable, so thank you for taking the time to be with us. Please let me know where you're hanging out from. I also want to establish a great collaborative of women and men entrepreneurs, so let us know what your passion is. I love getting to know you. Also, we're going to have an after show at the end of the broadcast where I'll be putting a link so you can come in and join us and say hi to Rayne and myself. I'd love to have you come in and say hi. Don't be shy. It's not going to be recorded, so just come on in and join us in the after show. Now, let's get talking about Rayne and all that she provides for you. I think you're going to love the information she has. She is really a crackerjack in video marketing. So she's just founded Expert Video Coaching and Training, and it's going to be just a fabulous way for you to learn how to use video to grow your business. So we're going to be talking today about developing your unique online video presence. And we've got this topic that's been going around. We thought we'd touch on it, and that is mobile optimization. Are you ready for the big shift? Have you made the changes necessary so that your site gets noticed and ranked in Google? Also, we're going to talk about personalized video and tips to get you recognized, but not only recognized, but liked, and just being who you are. So I look forward to that segment. Finally, we're going to talk about video production tips to look and sound professional. And I know Rayne has got just some fabulous ideas for us to keep in mind. So Rayne, without further ado, come on in and say hi to our audience. I know they're looking forward to hearing from you.
Well, thank you very much, Virginia. That is a wonderful intro. I feel like putting the applause on for you. Thank you for having me.
Well, you are so welcome. I just love to bring entrepreneurs on who are themselves getting the word out and helping so many people. And you are just the best when it comes to supporting other entrepreneurs. I've seen you do this time and time again across Google+, and I just want to commend you for that. And that's why I wanted you to get some airtime as an expert, because that's what you are. So let's start a little bit with your background. How did you get so passionate about video marketing?
Well, I got passionate about video marketing because so often we go to websites and there's little to no information, little to no personal information behind that brand or that business. And it really doesn't help us make a decision as to, do we want to work with that company? Do we want to deal with them? How will they deal with our concerns, or, anything like that? And I thought, with so little information to go on, it's really necessary to provide people with more information, because they wouldn't be coming to your website if they weren't interested, if they didn't want more information. And so having said that, I started delving into this a little bit more, and I was doing a video for a client and noticed how they were very, very shy. They're very reticent to be on camera. And I thought, well, you know what? There has to be a way to go about doing this. There has to be a way to provide a solution, because everybody knows that video is what we need to be doing. Everybody knows this. How many people are doing it? about that many, and how many people are doing it well, about that many. So I thought, well, let's take a really, really good look at this and see where the stumbling blocks are, what areas people need some support, and let's look at the major things that are impeding their progress. What's stopping them? And so I dove into it, and really the only way when you're diving into something and you're trying to find solutions is to go through the process yourself. And then you see what you come up against. But then afterwards, when you overcome it and you're helping those that are learning it behind you, you can then provide them with some assistance. So it makes that hurdle just a little less. And you can see if that works for them, or if the way you're communicating it with them based on how they hear things works. So it's been a phenomenal experience into really understanding how people learn, the best ways to provide people with this information so they can continue on, because it's a journey, and that's what it should reflect. Your online video presence should reflect a journey, because it's not a static website, which is something people will go to and then leave and probably never come back again. Or if they do, it'll be once or twice, and they'll notice there's nothing different, so they won't come back again. Whereas if you're offering an online video presence, and you're showing what you're doing and how you're learning and the things you're learning, and it's constantly changing. And that is interesting, because most people do love to learn, and they love to apply that knowledge to help their own brand and their own business grow. So it's a real win-win.
Well, I love that you have done, a lot of the research and really explored this and realized how few people are using video, even though, they've already predicted that in the next few years it is going to be absolutely the #1 way to reach your audience. And, the other thing is, when someone comes to a website, it used to be that you might keep them 8 seconds. Now it's 5 seconds, unless you have something compelling for them to look at. And, there's really nothing more compelling than video. And yet, as you say, if your presence and your professionalism or your personality or whatever it is isn't there drawing them in, even video is not going to do it for them. And I certainly don't think that PowerPoint video is going to do it for them, although people might argue with me on that. But, what I think is interesting about you and your approach also is that you really have taken a look at personality types and how different personality types use video differently and effectively. So I'm curious to dwell on that for just a few minutes. So, what you yourself say that you're an introvert, and yet you're out there doing video, getting yourself in front of people, which you wouldn't think would be an introverted type of thing to do. So how do you do and work with video as an introvert versus someone like myself who's a little more extroverted?
Well, I think, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. That's one thing I've noticed, the difference. There's introverts, extroverts, and ambiverts. And I recently wrote a blog post about it. And I think when you're deciding about diving into video, that would be a good read for you. There's a quiz on there to determine whether you're an introvert, an extrovert, or an ambivert. And when you're diving into video, there's things that extroverts are great at, and they have their strengths, and it works really well for them on video. And the same thing for introverts. And again, there are also things that they'll need to be aware of, that they'll need to keep in mind as they move forward with their journey. So knowing where you stand, knowing yourself a little bit more, when you take the quiz to figure this out, that will help you going forward, because there's all kinds of ways to do videos. There's 5-second, 30-second videos. There's Hangouts on air. There's many different ways that you can utilize video for your marketing purposes. So you don't have to stay closed in on just certain aspects of it. And really, there's amazing things. You can use props. You can use, masks and hats and, all kinds of things. And you can make it really, really fun. And that was one of the main things that I noticed was people who were reticent, because the majority of people they really don't want to start this journey, this online video presence journey publicly. A lot of people don't want to do that, and I don't blame them. I didn't really want to either. But so what I decided was, that's a major hurdle for people. It's a major hurdle, and I completely empathize with that, completely. And that's why I thought, you know what, they need somewhere private to practice before they start going public, because you really need to get used to seeing yourself on video, seeing yourself, hearing yourself, watching how you act. You know, you need to get some feedback from friends and family. You know, do that type of thing. And once you get, you know, comfortable, and the techie side is coming just fine, and your online presence is fine, then your personality starts coming out. And that's what you really want to show, because that's what's going to attract the type of people that you want to do business with on your website and with your marketing, which is the whole reason for it. So your personality is a huge component to this, and people being actually comfortable is it's number one. So the coaching piece is really, really integral to an online video presence, I think.
Well, and just getting comfortable, as you said, you know, when I first started to work with Hangouts on Air, oh my gosh, yeah, the heart was just beating like this. And yet I probably was broadcasting to all of one if I was lucky. So there was no need for me to be that sensitive about it. But I think that's human nature. And the nice thing is that you can practice, and what you're talking about is not only practicing with yourself, but just practicing with a group of other supportive people, so that you start to feel more comfortable and natural. And as you say, let the technology get out of the way. It's great technology, whether or not you're just recording through a video cam, or you're recording like we're doing here on a Hangout on Air. You need to let the technology get out of the way so you can shine and be who you are. And that's what people will be attracted to. I just so get that. So I like that you're providing that, an opportunity for people to be supportive of one another and practice together and get coached on it. So good on you.
Oh, thank you, Virginia. Yeah, it's been absolutely a wonderful experience, and I continue to learn, because I absolutely love this as a forum and a medium to reach people. And there is so much to learn, and there is so many ways this medium can be used. And really, your imagination is the limit. I think we're just starting. We're just actually starting to see all the different ways this could be used. So I'm really looking forward to it. I love everything about it. And the other thing I did want to mention about the coaching and training that I offer is it is community centric, and it is also there's a lot of motivation that we give, and there's also accountability. So, because in order for you to improve and move forward, there has to be accountability. So that's part of the process, is if you don't follow the lessons, and you won't move forward. So you really have to work together. It's not, somebody can't just do this for you. You have to be part of the process. You have to be part of the equation. And the benefits are absolutely amazing. There hasn't been one person that I've not met yet where I haven't seen them grow and flourish when they're using this medium, and when they embrace it wholeheartedly, and let their personalities and their uniqueness shine. It's
And
awesome.
that is the key. That is the key, to let your personality and uniqueness shine, not try to be someone you're not, just be yourself. And the right people will be drawn to you for being who you are, not pretending to be something you're not. So yeah, you got them going, and good for that accountability, because it's so easy to get stuck in a rut and not do what you need to do, because you're pushing people a little bit out of their comfort zone to begin with. And so accountability is super helpful, I know. Hey, I want to stop for a moment and welcome a few people who are making comments. Come on, you guys, put those comments in the comments section so I can acknowledge that you're here. First of all, Neil Brown, thanks for coming by. He's asking a question. What is community centric?
Excuse me. Thank you so much for asking that, Neil. Community-centric means I do offer one-on-one personal coaching, but I find the best situation is when it's community-centered. So there's other professionals in the same private online area, and they're learning along with you. So it's different when one person is saying, you know, I really would like you to try doing this. But and you may think, oh, you know, I know they want me to do that, but it's not really not that important. But when you're gathered and there's a community and the other community members are saying, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Then it's a lot less, it's not as easy to push that out of the way, because you're also hearing feedback from others who are in the same position as you. So nobody's likely, nobody's going to be harder on anyone else, because they really won't want the same thing happening to them either. So it's a formula I find that it works very well for when everybody has the same goal and they're moving towards that same goal, and
Great.
Everybody is helping one another. Yeah.
It's called support, community-centric. Well,
Right.
let's talk for a moment about the, are you ready for the optimization that is now, I guess you would say, required by Google for your website? What do you want to share on that topic?
Well, if you haven't done it yet, it's common knowledge here on Google Plus, but I'm not sure how common it is. I've seen other people, but I'm not sure how many people really have tested their site out yet. And I'll also put this link in the comment stream. You can go to https://www.google.com/webmaster/tools/mobile-friendly, and you can put your website URL in there, and it will test it for you, and it will tell you if your website is mobile friendly or not, which is
Just to say, great. Don't try to remember that link. She's going to post it for you.
Yeah. I'll definitely post it for you. And it's and I'll jump really quick into the video portion of that, in terms of I have seen where people are doing videos on their websites, and they're doing full shot videos. And please do keep in mind that your viewers are on mobile. And when you do full body shots, you show up about that big on their screen, on their mobiles.
Yeah.
And you really need to be cognizant of that, and try at least from the waist up, so they can actually see your face, hear you, watch what you're doing, that type of thing. So they'll be able to better relate with you than when you're that big.
So basically they need to see your eyes and your facial expression. That's the connection that we make. And they don't really need to connect with your feet, do they? So yeah, zoom in, put a little makeup on if you're a gal. Guys, I know, just put the baseball caps on, but zoom in and let people see your facial expressions. I think that's a really great tip.
Excellent.
What else do you have for us? And does this move us into the personalized video aspect, tips to get recognized and liked?
Yeah, well, that was the making sure you have personalized video on your website, and making sure they're not full body shots, that you have actual close-ups of yourself on your website. So yeah, that's definitely important. The other things to keep a really close eye on is your lighting, your audio, and your video quality. So these are things that I've noticed when people are first starting out. They tend to be more concerned with. They're nervous about actually recording themselves on video. So they're not necessarily paying attention to those other factors, which actually are very, very big. If your audio is really, really low, that will be a reason that someone will bounce off, because they have to take that extra step to turn their volume up to hear you. Or if your if you're doing something on your iPhone and you're outside and there's a lot of background noise, there will be extra steps you'll want to take to strip the audio out of that, remove the noise, put the audio back in. So these are things to really keep in mind, are your lighting and your audio, because they have a drastic effect on how your video comes across. They always say you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And you have to realize, when a lot of people are coming to your site, they may not have seen you before. So this is your opportunity to make your first impression. So you want to make sure that these things are in order. So having said that, there are portions of video, parts of video that I wouldn't say they're difficult, but there are certain ways you want to go about doing it. But having said that, once you know these certain steps, then it's a lot, and then it's easier than you think, which is my tagline.
It's easier than you think. So I think you should repeat that. Your tagline.
Yeah, it is. It's easier than you think. There are things. It's a skill. And it's something that you have to learn. We aren't taught this in school. It's not something that comes naturally to the majority of us when it comes to being on video and video marketing. It's something that you have to learn and you have to move forward with. But once you decide and you make that decision that is something you're going to do, it's really no different than going to a networking event with a room full of people and standing up in front of them. The only difference is your video has a lot more reach, and there's no time constraints, there's no place constraints. So you're actually providing something to people that you cannot do in real time. There is absolutely no way you can do it in real time, but you can with video. So I would like people to keep that in mind, because while I understand that there is a fear, there is a lot of people who do have a very real fear, and it's a common one. It really is no different. And if you're passionate about your business and you love what you do, there's really no reason why you shouldn't be using video. It's just, there's no reason.
Well, and there's every reason to be using video. So take advantage of these great tips that you're getting from Rayne here today, and put your questions in the comment section, or make sure you join us in a little bit in the after show. I want to say hi also to Roy Snaberger, who is here. He said, I enjoyed being in a Hangout. To me, it's lots of fun. Of course, it's lots of fun. And the more you do it, the more fun it becomes. And as I say, the technology gets out of the way. Also want to say hi to Kim Armstrong, who's here from Tallahassee. Oh, and by the way, Ron is from Jupiter, Florida. So terrific. Tanya Heathcote, I'm so glad that you're here to make it. And Jen Ross, and I know there's quite a few more of you, but for now, I just wanted to acknowledge that you're here. Thank you for being here and taking the time to learn from Rayne. So Rayne, let's get into how do you use video then to get liked? I know you're talking about proper lighting, proper audio, being yourself. What other good tips do you have for getting recognized, noticed, and liked on video?
Well, I think video is basically, it really is nothing more than another form of social media. So having said that, social media is, you will basically get out of it what you put into it. So if you are following other people, if you are assisting other people, helping other people, if you are doing those types of things, they will naturally do the same for you. And it's just, that's how things work. So that is how I find it works the best. If there is an opportunity for you to provide any type of assistance with regard to what your passion is, what you do, what you know, and you see an opportunity where you could possibly help somebody, take that opportunity. And social media video is a form of social media. So take that opportunity and reach out to them and offer them some constructive feedback and you will see it come back to you. It may not come back to you from that exact same person, but it just always comes back. So always, always, always be on the lookout for where you can offer and meet up with like-minded people, and where you can offer your assistance in what you excel at, because it's a win-win situation. And that's what I believe business and online relationships and your online video presence is all about. It's about developing win-win relationships. So yeah.
Well, I think you also could consider doing video blogging rather than, typing blogging. Or if you're in a support group of some sort, there's so many on both Google and LinkedIn and Facebook, where, someone comes up with a question or a challenge, and you could shoot a quick video answering the question, so you have a better way of making a connection with that person than just typing it out. I'm just one that's to the point of saying, just get out there so that people get to know you and recognize you with a valuable content, and not always in the written form. People are drawn to video. As a matter of fact, if they see a video answer versus a text answer, chances are, as long as you keep it concise, don't go off on, an hour tangent, but as long as you do a quick video on it, I think you'll get a lot of viewership. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, and video offers so many opportunities. There's vlogging, there's Hangouts on Air, there's YouTube live streaming events. There is using video for training purposes, for webinars, and you can do that both publicly and privately. There are so many opportunities to use this medium, that to not be using it is just, it's something to really, really think about and build into your plan for moving forward, because it really is definitely something that has a lot of power, and it's very easy for people to learn and understand and follow, especially how-to tutorials, very easy to follow when you're using video. And vlogging is just a really, really fun way to deliver great content, and you can always put links in the video for helpful tips, or links to send them to places where they'll find great information. So there's just all kinds of ways you can use it.
I've got to put this up. This is just terrific. Sheila, look at this. Tech Savvy Senior. Hey, I relate to you, Sheila. One of the things I suggest to people who are uncomfortable on camera initially is to play with videoing themselves on iPhone or iPad, simply playing, joking with themselves, making faces. I think that is a fantastic idea, Sheila, and we all do need to play a little bit more with this, and not take ourselves so seriously, maybe, is part of it.
Yeah, and that is an absolutely great way for people who are really, really reticent, is just to record themselves every morning for 2 minutes on their iPhone or Android. You don't have to share it with anybody or do anything with it. You can just record it, and after a week or so, just watch them. Just watch them. You don't have to, be critical of yourself or anything like that. And keep doing it. Keep doing it for 3 weeks, and just notice from where you started to where you end, how you actually felt about the experience, and notice if you feel any more comfortable with it at the end of it. And I can guarantee you are going to feel much more comfortable at the end of it. It's not to say you'll have all the details down in terms of lighting and your sound and all of that type of thing, but you will be a lot more comfortable doing it. Yeah.
And that's really the key, is to being yourself and being natural. You might even think about doing video journaling. You know how people write in their journals every day? Well, how about just grabbing your phone and picking it up and do your journaling in your phone with video? That could also be an interesting collection that you could put together over the year and say, wow, look at these incredible insights that I had.
Exactly.
Well, I want to keep moving us along. I could just go off on tangents with you forever, because I'm passionate about this as well. What's a couple of key tips, a pack my bag moment tips that you can give people on looking and sounding professional. I know you've already talked about the lighting and the audio. Do you have a couple more for people to take with them?
Well, I would have to say, make sure your camera needs to be a fairly good quality, and this doesn't need to cost you a lot of money. So for Hangouts on Air, the standard is a Logitech C920. That's the standard. There's a built-in microphone. It's a 2-in-1. It's your camera and your microphone, and it's great. It does the trick. And in terms of your video quality, it will make a huge difference what your bandwidth is. If your bandwidth is around 5 Mbps, you will have a very good quality for Hangouts on Air. So that's something you really want to keep in mind in terms of uploading. Now, you won't have to keep that in mind as much if you're recording on your iPhone and doing, or your Android and things like that. You won't have to be as concerned about that. But when you are doing Hangouts on Air, those two main components, and there is a website you can go to called TestMyNet or Speed Test. I'll double check. There's a couple of them, and I'll put them in the
speedtest.net and bandwidthplace.com are both great places to test your speed.
That's right. And it's your upload speed, not your download speed. It's your upload speed that should be hopefully around 5. They've said that, that minimum it should be 1. I've noticed when I've seen people on at 1, that the screen is a little bit blurry, that the quality is just not as crisp or clean. So it does make a huge difference. But again, that is strictly for Hangouts on Air. So that's something to keep in mind, that will have a big impact on how you're coming across. And having said that, a lot of people, if they live out in the country, they may only have DSL. There's certain things like that you'll need to keep in mind. So, yeah.
So then they'll just do more traditional video recording too.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say hi to Lynn. How are you doing, Lynn? She says, Rayne, you are wonderful at building win-win relationships. Great watching your interview with Virginia. Yay, yes, you are.
Thank you, Lynn.
Marguerite is saying, I totally agree with you, Rayne. Now, I'm not sure when this came out, at 12:25. So I'm sure you were talking about, one of your great tips. And Neil has another question for you. You are both showing up really well, and he wants to know how you get your black background, Rayne.
Oh, well, thank you for asking, Neil. I get the black background. I actually went to a photography store, and this is an actual photography backdrop. Having said, and it is on legs, and there are clamps that are attaching it. So having said that, though, that you don't necessarily need to go to that extent. What I would highly recommend, though, is that you keep in mind the color of your skin tone and what is behind you, because if you're if you're a pale person, like I'm a pale person, if I had a white wall behind me, the camera would have difficulty differentiating my skin tone from the wall. So whatever color you'd like to choose, I like to recommend that it be a solid color, because when you have a lot going on in your background, it can tend to be, it's just busy. It can be busy for people. And really, you want them concentrating on the conversation, on what you're saying, on that type of thing. So you want to try to keep things fairly simple if you can. And using colors that go along with your branding, that's always a fantastic idea. Really, really good idea. So that's just a tip. So it doesn't, Neil, you don't have to break the bank on this. I've seen people use blankets, really nice kind of plush blankets that are a certain color, and just pinning it up on the wall behind them. So you don't have to go crazy with this, and you can have a really good effect.
Yeah, and of course, you know that I have green screen, so I have a number of different scenes that I can put up behind me that's a little more sophisticated, but I do that for my show. When I'm doing my trainings, in all honesty, I have a very pretty wood panel background, and it works just fine, or a white background. A white wall's fine, or, you know, if you've ever watched Alex Mendosian, he has a great big poster that is of you're walking across a bridge with some bamboo on the side, and he just puts that behind him. So there's so many different ways you can go depending on, you know, what you want, what impression you want to make, and what point you're trying to make. So play around with them, and as Rayne said, keep it simple in the beginning. It's not important. People are interested in you and what you have to say. Well, we're going to end this off with a quick thing from terrific Tanya I thought was important to share. When I first began in front of the camera, I had poor self-image and lots of fear. I overcame this by discovering my why for creating the video, and this gave me courage to begin playing with creating videos, and I grew from there. And Tanya, you are so right. Always the why should, you know, stand out well beyond, you know, being worried about how you're going to look. For sure.
Excellent. Good for you. Good for you, Tanya. That's awesome. Good for you. That's the way to go.
For whatever reason, she's not leaving me. I love technology. I have taken that off, but for whatever reason, it ain't leaving. So you get to look at terrific Tanya for a moment. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Rayne. I'd like you to go ahead and give people your last thought and where they can get more information from you. And then we'll close it out and start the after show. So go ahead.
Oh, well, thank you so much again, Virginia, for having me on. I really, really appreciate it. And I do want to urge people to go to www.expertvideocoaching.com. There's a blog post on there with regard to figuring out if you're an introvert, an extrovert, or an ambivert, and that can be your starting spot to figuring out where you stand with this. And then you can start moving forward, because really when the fear starts, when you start addressing it and removing it, then you can just use it and flourish and decide whatever it is you'd like to do, because really there's so many different ways that you can use video for your business, that getting that part of it out of the way is really integral to moving you forward. So yeah, please go to my website and check out my blog, and I've got the 6 steps to the 6 secrets to boosting your online video presence. So if you'd like to receive that, please go to my website and sign up.
Well, absolutely take advantage of Rayne's expertise here. And you know what? Also, she's a great person to just feel comfortable around. And when you feel comfortable, you're going to learn faster, you're going to get more accomplished, and you're going to start to feel better about yourself and your own way of expressing yourself with video. So thank you, Rayne, so much for being with us. I have gone ahead and posted in the comment section the link to the after show. Please come in for a few minutes, say hi to Rayne and myself. We'd love to meet you, get to know you, and just say hi. And if you have any additional questions, Rayne will be here for a few more minutes to answer them in the after show. So come on and click that link, and don't be shy. We're going to stop the broadcast, and you can come on without worrying about it and get some experience playing around with Hangouts. So thank you again for being here with us today. I've enjoyed it thoroughly and all that Rayne has shared with us. I hope you have a terrific week, and we'll see you next week on the Inspirational Businesswoman Show. Thanks so much, Rayne. Bye-bye now.